Alrighty, so it's number 3. Oh, is this bench wet? No, I don't think it's wet. Alright, so I am recording number 3 right now, and in preparation for doing this solo podcast, I've been listening to Bill Burr's Monday morning podcast, but not the recent episodes. I actually have been going back and I listened to the first 20 episodes or so, and they're super funny. Yeah, and the quality's not all that great. He does some of them while he's driving. And one of them. And I have no idea what his setup is. I've tried looking it up. This being my third one, I'm not sure if I should. I don't know if I even need to. It's not time to invest in a setup. I don't really have much money anyway. Anyways, let's talk a bit of YouTube regret. This past weekend, this Saturday, I had a cheat day on my diet, and during my cheat day, I ate. What I did was I ate a lot of food because I am on that slow carb diet, which is a diet by Tim Ferriss, who wrote the book 4-Hour Workweek. Everybody who's read that book has actually been able to change their work week into a 4-hour work week. And that's why there's millions and millions of people now who only work for 4 hours a day. Millions, 100 million people who do that. I read it, and now I work. I've read it multiple times, so I'm down to 1 hour a day. Yeah, that book's funny. But anyway, I find his slow carb diet that he lays out in the book 4-Hour Body to be much more doable. So I really wish I recorded this. I don't know why I didn't make a vlog about it, me eating a bunch of food. Who doesn't want to see that? It was kind of fun and crazy and whatnot. I got full really quick and was not nearly able to eat half as much food as I wanted to. Probably, let's say half as much food. And so, man, oof. I ate a lot, but at the same time I didn't eat very much. Had 1 can of Coke. I wanted 2 cans. 1. But I also try not to have caffeine very late, thanks to Dr. Matthew Walker's book, Why We Sleep, and my extreme caffeine sensitivity. So yeah, I had a slow carb diet. I will talk more about that after I've done it for more than a stupid week, and maybe I could do a video on it. The world is yearning for it. The world's dying to see what's John gonna do next. What's he gonna do? Is he gonna upload a video that nobody's gonna watch? Yes. Is he gonna do a podcast that no one will listen to? Yes. In fact, he will. So I'm kind of still in my afternoon slump, which happens to me a lot, where I am kind of tired in the afternoon. So it's hard for me to think about what I would normally think about. Let's talk about the fact that I am hoping that let's talk a little bit about my cats. So my one cat wakes us up in the middle of the night. Woke us up 6:30 this morning. Not as bad. Also, my throbbing knee pain woke me up. Kept me up. So there's always my throbbing knee pain, which is chronic and terrible. And there doesn't seem to be a solution for. Woo! All right. Gotta be grateful. Gotta learn to be grateful for what I have. And I am. So what we've been doing is I play with my cat before I go to sleep. That was very interesting. Okay, let's talk about the things that I actually care about talking about. Let's go to my list of things to talk about. Okay. I got about 10-15 minutes before I have to run inside. Get back to work. Let's talk a little bit about Joe Rogan's podcast ending. So, I listen to the Joe Rogan podcast very, very regularly. And maybe I'll talk about this later, but it's to the dismay of some of my friends. Some people I know think it's a reprehensible show, and I disagree, but that's for another time. And I was thinking that I was confronted the other day because I saw a clip on YouTube of him talking to Brendan Schaub about moving. And he tells, oh my god, that's a worm. Oh, that's disgusting. Oh my god, there's a worm in front of me. That's so gross. It's like inching around. Oh my god, I hate all small life forms. All the tiniest. Oh god. Oh god, I do not go good with worms. Anyway. So. I was listening to watching this clip of him talking to Brendan Schaub about leaving California. And he's talking about leaving California. And the show does pretty well. If you look at the iPodcast chart stats, it's pretty consistently in the top 10. Blah, 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 well listened to. There's other people that listen to it other than me. People talk about how it's doing. People who've been on the podcast say that it does better than a lot of late night shows. I haven't seen the numbers to back this up, and but I know I like it. So, but he talked about leaving LA, LA? I don't know. He's not in LA, he's somewhere outside of it. And he says, and then Brendan says, oh my god, I can't believe you're going to leave, blah, 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 blah. All this stuff about comedy and how he's going to be leaving the area, he's not going to be able to do his sets the way he likes, something. Okay, but what's relevant is, to me, I think, is the idea that he talked about how he'd do the podcast. Because he built this huge compound where he has all this stuff, he has people jumping around and stuff there, and swinging around and swing sets and stuff. And while those people I guess are going to stay there, what's going to end up happening is he and I think Jamie lives there. He lives inside the compound. But in seriousness, he's talking about leaving, and then he said he would just go back to his compound where he does the podcast and just bank a bunch of shows, kind of do them in batches, and then go back to his home, wherever he moves to. And in that moment, I was confronted with the same thing that happened to me when, I guess, Jon Stewart was going to leave The Daily Show. Even though I kind of had fallen off watching The Daily Show as much as I did because I didn't have cable. But I thought it would never end. I thought it was going to be the same thing. It's always going to be, there's always going to be a Joe Rogan podcast. Duh. Where else would it go? There's so much of it. There's no talk of it ending. And then I was confronted with this idea, oh my God, it's going to end. And even if it doesn't end, and let's say he moves, people in the comments says, hey, he's been talking about this since podcast number 1 about leaving. He sounded pretty serious to me in this clip. I think that it would change the way the show is done. I mean, imagine the difference if, he records it and he banks a bunch of shows and then he goes off. Maybe that's good. Maybe that's great. I think it's going to change the way maybe the podcast feels, right? Maybe we won't get as many regular episodes. There's a lot of questions, right, that could happen. He said that he might move soon. Interesting. What could happen if he ends the podcast? I don't know. A lot. My God, imagine if he did. That'd be crazy. It's probably my most consumed podcast. And I don't really know anybody who listens to it. I really don't. I talked to some of my in-laws, relatives and stuff of my wife, and they watch it, and that's about it. I don't know anybody else who watches it. My friends think it's stupid and uninteresting, and some of it think it's terrible and bad, actively bad. But for me, it'd be really crazy if it ended, and it's possible that it could, and it's possible that it could change. So what would that mean? Would that create space for more people to come in and do podcasts and other comedians to take that on? And I've always wished that comedians would, or just people like Joe would do what he does, where they have guests on that aren't just the same old celebrities. It's only so many actors you could hear from. Even when I was acting, I didn't really want to hear another interview with an actor. Sometimes, every once in a while, I guess there's something interesting there, but there's so many other people in the world to listen to, and there's so many people that I believe I want to hear from, I want to learn from, not just actors. I'm sure they know some stuff, but scientists are cool, and it's cool that he comes at from the perspective of Joe, who seems to be a kind of relatable guy, and talks in a way that I'm able to understand and ask questions that I would be interested in asking. So it's relatable in that sense, right? And I was wishing other podcasters did that, but they don't. They really don't, and a lot of them, some have. I've seen some people, change it up a little bit and have people on, like Theo Von's podcast, or what was it? The Your Mom's House podcast. Once in a while, usually, but I guess that's Joe's thing. That's what he does, is that he has all these interesting guests come on. And what's nice about it is, because of the relaxed nature of the podcast, it's so nice that to just kind of listen into a conversation, right? It's unedited, unscripted, and that's kind of nice for casual listening, or deep listening even. But because the information is just, things might get repeated, things like a normal conversation. I don't know. It'd be weird if it ended, I think. And I'd like to know where that's going to go. Really wasn't enough material for me to do this, but I have to go in soon. So, yeah. What else is there? There's also, man. I haven't had a single day off this summer. Anyway, I'm looking forward to doing more of these. This one, I struggled to think a little bit more of, but maybe in the afternoon one I'll do at 5. I'll have a little bit more to say. I always have so much to say, so it's weird when I don't have that much to say. I really hate being lethargic. It really sucks. And I hate afternoon slump. But, yeah.